All right, Neil, this was a really tough loss for Penn State. Up 18 points, up big in the fourth quarter, 39-38. Great game, entertaining, exhilarating, all of that. Crushing defeat, though. You can't get around it.
Sure. And it's really the pattern of how they've lost these last couple of years. They don't have the running game, even though they have a great running back. They can't control the clock, make first downs. It goes back to the Maryland game, I think James's first year, when they couldn't put them away either. And I know that's a while ago and different coordinators and what, but you need to be able, it's not that complicated. You need to be able to control the ball, make a couple first downs, and get your defense off the field. That's where the game was lost.
Well,
they couldn't put it away.
There are a lot of issues. We'll try to get to as many as we can, but the offensive line is just not good enough. And then you suffer some injuries. And
right.
I mean, again, we thought the line was going to be a strength this year. It's not.
No, absolutely. I mean, it played so well late in the year with a lot of the same cast. Bates got hurt today, and that definitely hurt them. But you can look at the defense too. The defensive line really has had a lot of injuries. Also, things are starting to catch up. They're 7-1, but you come out here and you score 38 points. It should be good enough to win. I know there were a lot of problems on offense, but you need to be able to win a game where you score 38 points at Ohio State.
Well, yeah, sure. I want to be a little realistic here. Ohio State outplayed Penn State last year. Penn State won the game, but did not do much offensively. Got a blocked punt and the blocked field goal won. Ohio State outplayed Penn State tonight. Ohio State just seems to be a better, more physical, more dominant
Ohio
team.
State is the better team. I think people can walk away from Penn State fans and say, well, it was a missed opportunity to win the game for sure. Penn State did pretty well in the red zone when it got down there.
But watching that game, who was the more dominant
Ohio
team?
State was the better team. They doubled them in yards. Penn State couldn't manage the line of scrimmage. Barrett completed 16 in a row.
Yeah.
Barrett had an amazing game. I mean, 420-some yards of total offense.
Well, there were questions about whether or not J.T. Barrett could handle the passing game against a good defense and win a big game, Neil. He was sensational. He's always been good on the run, and he's built up a lot of stats in his career against some bad defenses. Penn State came in leading the country in scoring defense at 9.6 points per game. J.T. Barrett torched them. They had no shot at him. He had all day to throw, and he made accurate throws.
Well, you lost Buckholz in this game. You've also lost Torrance Brown, both these guys. These are significant losses, and when you add up the defensive ends that they lost last year to the NFL, so now you're dealing with, you have a veteran defense, but you don't have a veteran defense up front. And so I think that really came to roost here tonight.
Okay, did Penn State lose this game, or did Ohio State win it?
Well, I think that's a combination of both. It depends which telescope you're looking for. Obviously, Penn State, when you have three score leads and you don't put that game away, you feel that you've left the door open and you've lost the game. But clearly Ohio State came back when they had to, and they're going to feel like they stole the game too. So I think Penn State lost the game, that they did not put the game away. And here, when you come into Columbus, you just can't leave the door open like they did.
And
I think maybe they should have been more aggressive. When they were down at the 7-yard line, they ran the ball. They wanted to keep the clock moving. That hasn't been really their style.
And I might be optimistic here. I know a lot of even Penn State fans disagree with this. I still think they're very much alive for a college football playoff berth. They lost by 1 point on the road at Ohio State in a game they led the whole way. It's not a bad loss. Everybody else is going to have one loss other than Alabama, maybe Miami. But so what you're going to do is you're going to have all these one-loss teams, and they're going to be comparing one loss.
Georgia was impressive.
Well, but Georgia's probably going to lose to Alabama in the SEC title game.
Right.
TCU lost. Notre Dame's got the best loss against 1 point by Georgia. This is a 1 point loss. Again, I know a lot of Penn State fans are really down. There's a lot to be shaken out. If they run the table, I still think they're not out of it yet, despite what Kirk Herbstreit and some others said.
Maybe, though, but Michigan State loses to Northwestern today. This was an opportunity to beat a great team. I'm not even sure Michigan's a great team.
Penn State doesn't have the resume builder in the non-conference, and that's a problem.
I think Georgia, having won at Notre Dame, having pounded Florida today, if Georgia's semi-competitive with Alabama in the SEC final, I think they're going to have to be accounted for.
What a kick in the teeth is. There's no getting around it. This is the game Penn State, they're on the plane right now, I'm sure, feeling like they should have won this game.
Well, not only that, I mean, you look at what they were building. We talked about early in the fourth quarter, okay, what are you going to write? Well, it started to look like if Penn State wins this game, that they have surpassed Ohio State. They would have beaten them 2 years in a row, been in the Big Ten final again. Ranked number 2, probably been favored to win to beat Wisconsin. So a lot was lost here tonight.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It was an entertaining game, but boy, this one's going to sting. As great as last year was with the blocked field goal, this one is going to sting. Still get a good Penn State football team, could still go 11-1. Maybe the Orange Bowl is in the picture.
And I think they lost to a really good team. I mean, I think Ohio State could, maybe beat anybody. I don't know about Alabama, but Ohio State, if they play the way they played tonight, I know they hurt themselves with penalties, a lot of kickoff return, but boy, when they had to respond in the clutch, they did.
All right, for Neil, I'm Corey. Thanks for tuning in.